Hello, world. This is Hello Chaos, the podcast about the ups and downs, ins and outs, highlights and low points of entrepreneurship. I am your co-host, Jennifer Oladipo.
And I am another co-host, Jennifer Sutton. I'm AKA JJ.
I'm AKA Jeno.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. I was waiting for the Jeno intro.
I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
It's the holidays.
So we are thrilled to have Bree Spaulding in as a remote a studio guest. And Bree Spaulding, she is with the McNair Institute with USC, University of South Carolina.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Bree.
So folks will hear a little bit of a delay, but we are so glad to have you. And I'm really excited to have you on because we talk with all kinds of entrepreneurs, but we have not really touched on student entrepreneurship. So, we aim to inspire and educate people about, that entrepreneurial journey. And more, we're seeing people getting that started younger and younger, and even while they're in school.
Sometimes in high school, but definitely in college.
Yeah. So could you just start off by just telling us a little bit about what you do at the McNair Institute and who you're working with?
The McNair Institute is, first of all, there's many around the country, and the University of South Carolina is grateful to have one at our location for students at the university. And the Institute is open to all students. It doesn't matter what major or what minor that you have. And we basically just expose students to entrepreneurship early. So some of them already have ideas that they're working on. Some of them are already building businesses while in school. And so we create like a mentorship opportunity within our institute for community members that are entrepreneurs to host some different events for students to engage with entrepreneurs early and engage with them one-on-one. So they get a full context of what it's like to be an entrepreneur and how different that day-to-day is than someone working at maybe a Fortune 500 company.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And so do you find, is it underclassmen who are coming in with ideas, or is it kind of as they get older, they start approaching to work with you, or is it just the whole gamut?
We see different levels all around. So they come in very excited. They come in excited to learn. I often tell everyone coming in, like, take your time. Universities like the University of South Carolina just offer so many opportunities for students, even outside of just the entrepreneurship space. But having that opportunity on campus, a lot of students don't have. So there's a lot that students can do at the university. And because of that, we see them stretched so thin sometimes, just trying to do everything. But it's nice that we're there as a resource to kind of help them stay grounded and kind of push their ideas as much as they would want us to help with.
And as part of that program, do you help them find funding or pursuing capital of, okay, this is a great idea. You guys have helped them kind of organize their chaos a bit. But for them to launch it, do you guys help support the launches and funding for that? Because a lot of these kids they're not working a side gig already.
Right. Yeah, they're in college.
that this becomes their side hustle. So how does that work? Or is it really just providing the infrastructure and the knowledge of what to do?
Yeah, good question. It's a little bit of both. We've only had one or two students that actually have gone through our institute and gone on to receive funding and things of that nature. So we are a part of a few different pitch competitions. So we bring students to those pitch competitions. That's one way that we help them get funding. One way that we help them pitch their ideas to people who can fund them. A lot of it is that infrastructure, just the understanding of what being an entrepreneur will look like if they're not exposed to it at all. So that's really the basis in which we like to start, and just giving them different tools as well that they can use to start building their ideas out. We have a platform called Startup Wind that we use, and you're able to build your business canvas on there. You're able to put it in a network of mentors that have already been vetted by our institute that are there to support you, there to give you feedback. I mean, they sometimes rip the proposals apart.
I was going to ask you, like, someone's like, man, these are some dog ideas.
We've had some interesting ones, and they definitely let them know that these are not good.
Well, that's good. That's good. They're not doing anybody, any favors by flattering them. And it's good to know young,
that's
early
right.
in the game.
Well, Bree, I'm curious of when you said that the part of the biggest thing that you guys try to do is level set. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? Kind of get them ready for, that. What's that landscape and that profile? What are some of the preconceived notions that you guys have had to knock down?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. That's a great question. I would say the one that sticks out the most is just that all these different things that you want to do are just going to come to you. You can fix your schedule. They have this idea of this nice flexible schedule that means that you don't really do a whole lot of work.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what is it that makes them, what do you do to help change their mind about that?
Well, the biggest thing is the mentorships that they're able to forge through our online community and then our in-person community. When we bring entrepreneurs on campus, they get to attend different conferences, different events that are held just for entrepreneurs. We just finished one 2 months ago now, in October for the Growth Summit. So the Growth Summit is a entrepreneurship-based conference that brings entrepreneurs together, mostly in South Carolina, but it has a reach all over the Southeast, to really get together and talk about the things that they want to see in their ecosystems, things that they want to bring to the ecosystem, things that they need as entrepreneurs. So we had about 85 students that were registered for that event and that attended and got a lot out of just listening to some of their stories and what they're going through and what they've been through and where they are, because they're all in different places when it comes to that summit event. So it's events and things like that really teach them what to look forward to or what to do with where they are in terms of how they're growing or scaling whatever business they're in.
Yeah, we were there at the Growth Summit, which is in Columbia, South Carolina, and talked with a couple of, or at least I talked with a couple of, your students. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool how enthusiastic they were. And honestly, that's why I was like, oh, we need to, talk about student entrepreneurs because just the energy that they had. And of course, there were also
ideas and
of course, there were also some who had kind of like a deer in headlights kind of thing going on where, you could tell that they were just trying to, figure out their space, literally like their place in the room. And so was it were some of those very young people helping at the front desk, were those students that you work with as well that were like helping to check us in and things?
Yeah, so some of them were definitely there working the event. And then also we built in time so they weren't the whole time working the event, but they were going to some of the sessions themselves. And then some were just attending sessions maybe for class or was open to a lot of the students that engage with us on campus, depending on if they're just walking by or we do a lot of tabling events. We just do a lot of things on campus to just expose students to the word entrepreneurship. Yeah. That's something that we like to ask a lot on campus is, what does that word mean to you? What does that say?
That's so funny.
So
and
what do they say? What do they say?
Because
this is an ongoing thing we discuss all the time.
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback that we're like, I'm not sure that's what that means, but it's
what kind of stuff,
interesting
though?
to see what they think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do they think?
I've seen a little bit of everything in terms of just own my own business, meaning entrepreneurship, or started an IT company. They associate IT with entrepreneurship a lot.
Interesting.
Tech.
And I think that's just the space that, tech tech has really been the space that a lot of people brand entrepreneurship, and also a lot of retail. So we see that clothing store or create this clothing brand. So
Mm-hmm.
clothing brands for college students are like really, really a thing.
Yeah.
They think they're the next Nike. They're the next Nike.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who are, wanting to actually start something while they're in school, are there certain things that students in particular, considerations that they have to make in order to be successful, however they're defining that, even if that just means just getting started and moving along?
Yeah, it really just depends on where they are. And we have an entrepreneurship, so with a little bit more course guidance and some boxes to check in terms of what you're learning about the different parts of entrepreneurship, if that's finance, if that's getting that capital, if that's
Mm-hmm.
actually launching something online or in a store, or that piece of it is a marketing piece. So
Mm-hmm.
the minor follows those type of course curriculum successes, I would say. And then outside of that, it really is just where the student is. We have a student right now who is actually president of our Student Advisory Council, which is a group of students who are heavily involved in entrepreneurship in one way or the other. Either they want to be an entrepreneur, not quite one, or they are one. They're selling things at our Saturday market in Columbia. They're doing all these different things to promote their businesses. So it varies.
Yeah.
But the president there does a lot with one of the tools. And so he is really big on sharing with everyone who will listen to him about how to launch your online business.
That's fantastic. Bree, I was curious. You had said that you listen to the students and their feedback, and really, what are their needs? What is some of that? What is their expectation of? Hey, this is what I want from the McNair Institute, or this is what I need that I'm feeling either is a gap, or maybe they're just not knowledgeable that you guys offer those programs. Just what is that?
Yeah, that's another great question, and something that we try to do regularly. So it overlaps with what the everyday entrepreneur needs as well, because we host a lot of on-site and off-site events open to the community, because that's one reason that we exist, is also community facing and things that we can help there, and also mostly student centered, because we are on campus. But the overlap is very interesting, because a lot of what they say is community. They want a community of students who are doing what they're doing or doing what they want to do, and that are all like-minded in that sense. So we have really, every semester, I pretty much have changed up what our Student Advisory Council has done and is doing, just so that it fits the needs of them, but not only them, but the needs of us, because we have needs at the McNair Institute as well, in terms to meet our goals and succeed at what we need to do. And then we want to make that align with what the students need as well. So this semester coming up, we are really taking a more peer-to-peer, community-focused approach, because that is what we've been hearing the last semester a lot.
Interesting.
That is.
And what is it that they're trying to get out of community? Is it ideas, or is it just someone to, like kind of have grinding next to you?
Or is it a safe place to, ask questions?
I think it's a little bit of all of that, because they want to, I think they have conversations outside of the structured minor, or outside of their structured classes or study time. And they want to be able to talk with each other a little bit more. But even if it's in a guided setting, is what I like to call it, less structured, but guided.
Right.
And they really appreciate that. And they really appreciate that space. And they want to be able to do that together with others that are thinking about entrepreneurship the way they think about entrepreneurship.
And Bree, I'm curious, being involved in an entrepreneurial organization like the McNair Institute at USC, why did you get involved? Why is entrepreneurship important to you?
Yeah, so actually, everyone on our staff owns some type of business.
Oh,
So that is one thing that it makes us very unique is that we aren't just teaching entrepreneurship and cultivating it, but we live it every day
That's
outside of
fantastic.
the university because we're all kind of part-time staff.
Yeah.
Um, so it's really interesting that we do that. But I own a consulting firm in Columbia, so consulting is my number one thing, and then being able to share that with the students at the university and what that looks like for me and how I've done many different things, have multiple degrees, like they all can relate and see, there's still an avenue here moving forward. So that's all of our staff. There's one of our principal owns a ice cream company. So you may have heard of Proof Ice Cream.
oh
Yeah,
Has an
yeah,
alcoholic ice cream.
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Dirk Brown.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
there, yeah. So there's a lot of different just ways that we personally can give back as well as work with the students that we work with.
So I'm curious, have there been things that you've learned? Is it your company? Is it a business consulting?
Yeah, so it's business and political consulting.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I was just curious if there's anything that you've learned in working with the students that you've taken back, into your own business.
That's a good question. I would say the number one thing probably is just listening a little bit closer to what your clients need,
Mm.
because the students remind you that they say things quite often. Um, so I think that is probably the most that I've taken back is just the listen closely. And even though we like to have, templates set, we like to have an idea what people want. But when you are an entrepreneur and when you are working in like a consulting space, you can kind of mix and flow however you need for that client. And that's something that I pride myself on is doing what's needed for the client in the way that the client needs it, because not everyone's the same.
Mm.
And so the same with our students. They're all in different places. They all need different things. They're all from different parts of the world, and they all need something a little different. So we pride ourselves on making, like I said, we change part of our curriculum every semester so that it fits what the students need.
That's funny because that sounds a lot more entrepreneurial than your typical academic way of
Yeah.
doing things. It's like we've got the curriculum and we, go with that.
Bree, if people wanted to understand more about the McNair Institute at USC, University of South Carolina, how would they find more information?
Yeah, so we are on Instagram and we are on Facebook at McNair. That's MCNAIR. U of SC. We'll see how long the of lasts. And you can also type in McNair Institute on the General University of South Carolina website, and it pulls up our website from there, and you can see more of the programs that we offer, more of the things that we do, all of our staff, and just what we pride ourselves on for the students and their exposure.
And as a fellow entrepreneur and founder, opening up to our community, it's great to know that what you're doing with students. But as part of that, can other entrepreneurs and founders not in Columbia kind of participate and help support and be a part of that community?
Yes, that's one reason we have our online community, because we have so we really pride ourselves on our alumni. So we invite them first, and then we do welcome others to join. But that is a very simple message. If anyone wants to get involved, to just go to our website, you can get involved there. It's a link on there for becoming a mentor. But we need mentors. We host a few speed mentoring events, which are really fun. They're like speed dating events online. But you're looking at a business canvas with a student, and you're telling them the good, the bad, and the ugly all in 30 minutes.
Oh,
and
wow.
It kind of gives them a jump start. It gives them a true jump start to what they need to do to really move that forward if that's something that they're interested in doing. So we do welcome the support there. Like I said, there is a sign up on our website, and you will then become a part of the online community, which allows you to see what students are working on. You can help. You can talk to entrepreneurs as well.
Awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, Bree. This has been great. Thanks for joining us and giving us a little window into a world that I don't think many founders get to look at if they didn't start themselves while they were in school, and probably a lot of them didn't have this kind of support.
Right, and also to give back to the community and connect further with younger folks, but also it sounds like just a deeper entrepreneur community.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, thank you so much. So we know how they can get involved with Bree and the McNair Institute. What about how can we hear more about Orange Whip?
Yeah, well, so this podcast is available at your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify or iTunes, or you can actually go to the Orange Whip website. That is orangewhip.com, and check out the Hello Chaos page there, both audio and video.
Take a look. Beautiful faces.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Bree.